Welcome to CBS News 24/7. I'm Reed Cowan. All right, so let's begin with breaking news about President-elect Donald Trump's hush money case. Donald Trump, of course, found guilty of covering up payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels just days before the 2016 presidential election. So Donald Trump's attorneys want his convictions frozen or dismissed so that Trump can get about the business of the people and run the country. Judge Juan Marchand was expected to rule on those moves by Team Trump today, but the judge instead kicked the can down the road, delaying his ruling until a later date. So let's bring in CBS News political reporter and attorney Katrina Kaufman. Katrina, a lot to unpack here. What's the logic behind this delay?
Reed, the prosecution asked for this week so they can decide how they want to ask the court to proceed. And they said it's in part because the defense came to them, asked them to consider arguments about staying or dismissing this proceeding altogether. So the prosecution says they now need to balance the weight of the jury's verdict against the office of the president. And as you were mentioning, on Trump's side, they say that it would be an unconstitutional impediment to his ability to govern to allow this to proceed. So we're going to have to see what the prosecution says. Today we were waiting for Judge Juan Marchand to make a decision about how the Supreme Court's presidential immunity ruling would impact the case. And now that has been delayed as well.
Wow. Okay, so the extent of Trump's legal woes not limited to just this New York case. Of course, we know because we've been talking about it for months. Jack Smith's January 6th case, the classified documents case, and the Georgia elections case. So, Katrina, what happens to all of these cases?
Reed, as of now, all of the deadlines in the D.C. election interference case have been paused. That was at the request of special counsel Jack Smith, and he has until early December to tell the court how he wants to proceed. But it is anticipated that this is going to get dismissed. The question becomes whether that will be with or without prejudice. If it's without prejudice, it could be brought again at a later date. We could also get a final report from Smith in that case. With Florida, that case has already been dismissed by Judge Eileen Cannon, but it is on appeal to the 11th Circuit. It's also against two other defendants. There's the issue of the lawfulness of the special counsel's appointment and funding that is at play there as well. But it is very likely that because those are both federal cases, once Trump is in office, he could just ask the DOJ to intervene. So those will likely both just go away. Now with Georgia, it's a little bit complicated. They're still dealing with the issue of whether or not the district attorney, Bonnie Willis, can even remain the lead prosecutor on that case, Reed. So as of now, there is a hearing set for December 6th. And it's also important to remember Trump is not the only defendant in that case. In that RICO case, there are a number of other defendants. So it's possible that we could see the case proceed without Trump as a defendant. There are many options here, and it'll be interesting to see how these all play out in the end.
Katrina, it's always great to have a correspondent who is also an attorney. Nice to talk to you today. Thanks for explaining all of this.